My name is Nardine Samuel, and I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to participate in this year's UTEST Pitch Day. And I'm pitching on behalf of our company, Cove, which is a precision medicine for neuroscience company. Just by looking at these individuals, do you think it would be possible to tell who suffers from major depression, or who has schizophrenia, or who of these individuals would have a high lifetime risk of developing dementia? What if I were to show you their MRIs and tell you that they actually don't really give us any clues towards this? And importantly, they all look the same and they're all normal. But what if there was actually a tool out there where we could study the brain objectively and be able to really look at how the brain is functioning and from there lead to predictions with regards to diagnosis or outcomes? And in fact, there are. One of the key things that we can do is look at brain waves or brain activity. And this is one of the key things that we've been doing as a company to try to better understand how we can look at functioning of the brain and utilize that as an essential tool to drive clinical trials forward in the neurosciences. The problem is that over 90% of agents in neuroscience do not reach the marketplace. And this is really in large part due to the fact that there are no objective ways of measuring the brain. And really, this is where our solution comes in. We are looking at de-risking clinical trials because pharmaceutical companies realize that they need specifically this approach in order to improve the likelihood of success of their clinical trials. And what we've developed is a software tool needed to implement precision biomarkers in the clinical trial setting in general, as well as in neuroscience research. And so what that means is that when pharmaceutical companies are undertaking clinical trials, they oftentimes collect data from neurophysiologic or EEG devices. And what they really need is an output of what that means. What's the signature? And really, this is what our software does. And this is so essential in neuroscience because as clinicians and researchers, we don't have ways of objectively measuring the brain. Unlike measuring your blood pressure or blood sugar or prostate markers for prostate cancer, we don't have ways of measuring how severely depressed is someone, how is someone responding to a dementia medication. And the pharmaceutical industry is realizing this, but their real pain point is how do we make sense of this data and how do we actually derive these biomarkers? And this is specifically what we're addressing. This is a use case from one of our clients. This is a US-based company that provides hardware tools to pharmaceutical companies for collection and clinical trials. And they specifically underwent a clinical trial in the context of schizophrenia. The question that they were asking is, why are some patients responding to the medications relative to others? And what we were able to do was take the data from their clinical trial and actually utilize our AI-powered platform to be able to stratify patients that were responding to the medication versus not. And really, we reached almost 100% subpopulation identification using our classifier, which was significantly improved accuracy relative to not using our approach. And this was really one of the key milestones of demonstrating, in fact, why this works and why this type of tool would be so essential in the pharmaceutical setting. As you can imagine, there's a substantial market for this. We are in the era of precision neuroscience, and the time is now to really be in the neuroscience space. We've identified a clear entry point in the market where we can be a premier leader, where we can actually work towards providing our software platform for accelerating clinical trials. And we aim to have the largest market share in our market segment by virtue of the fact that we can actually access this through multiple points, as I'll discuss in the next slide. And so when we segment out the market, we can either sell directly to pharmaceutical companies to fuel and power their R&D, or there's been an explosion of these EEG device companies or brain sensing companies, many of whom actually aim to service pharmaceutical companies. And so we can partner with them. And that's been a huge aspect of our business model as well, which I'll also describe. And finally, there are neuroscience contract research organizations. But what this actually really funnels down to is how do we get access to clinical trialists? Because these are the individuals that have the significant pain point and are willing to pay us also a significant amount of funding in order to ensure that their trial can be successful. In terms of our business model, we have a hybrid approach where we perform technology-enabled services. And in fact, our services revenue has been very beneficial in driving our R&D towards ultimately building a SaaS product where we can license out our software platform as well as some of the biomarkers that we develop from our tool. And to date, we've really gained immense traction. So we're generating revenue. Since the beginning of the year, we've actually signed $200,000 worth of contracts in just this month alone. We've also secured about another $250,000 in non-dilutive funding from various extremely competitive grants. And actually, as of this morning, we secured another $80,000 from a competitive grant for further product development. We have signed 4 new clients, and we have partnerships in progress with multiple very high profile EEG companies in the US, as well as a company that is working directly in a pharmaceutical trial. And we are continuing to contribute to the literature through scientific publications, as shown here. We also continue to publish as academics and physicians and really understand the importance of demonstrating the utility and the importance of understanding the brain at a network level. We have several competitors out there, and there are other companies that are in this space. In particular, I think we excel undoubtedly in that we offer advanced signal preprocessing and we're applying advanced AI and machine learning tools for biomarker discovery. Each of these companies is actually quite successful in their own area, however, very differentiated from these 2 key factors, which are very essential, as mentioned, to the ultimate success of our tool in the hands of the clients that we're hoping to target. I'd like to highlight Beacon Biosignals, which is a company that raised a significant amount of funding, but recently actually acquired a hardware device, and they've pivoted several times. And Alto Neuroscience, which is also aiming to kind of be in this precision neuroscience sphere. And they've done a lot of really great things, but they're also fundamentally a pharmaceutical company testing their own products as well. These are kind of the key members of our team, but actually we currently have 21 employees that have been funded largely through grants from the University of Toronto, as well as several interns. Myself and Irene are the co-founders of the company. We're both physicians and scientists trained in neuroscience, and Dr. Leif Samatis is also a neuroscientist and data scientist who serves as our chief data scientist and the director of R&D. We are backed by a world-class team of advisors, including our medical and clinical mentor, Andres Lozano, who is a neurosurgeon at Toronto Western Hospital, and the chairman of our advisory board, Roger Mahabir, who has been a very successful serial entrepreneur with multiple successful tech exits and has been really instrumental in helping us drive the business. So in the current phase of our company, we've primarily been using non-dilutive funding and bootstrapping to prototype our software and secure additional milestones, iterating our product market fit. We're currently raising a seed round. We have approximately 600,000 committed, and this funding is really essential. We've gone through the financials of this to really help us reach some key milestones in the company, to execute on the new and existing contracts that we're not going to otherwise be able to keep track of or even keep up with, and also accelerate our R&D towards iterating our SaaS product. And also, we're at a point where we want to continue to reinvest in our R&D so that we can validate our disease-specific pipelines. We're focusing a lot on Alzheimer's, depression, and epilepsy, and this is really going to help us gain significant traction in this area. Moving forward, we will expand in lateral market segments, and we envision we will undoubtedly become a premier leader in the neuroscience SaaS space, and ultimately really develop and validate biomarkers for brain diseases. We are a precision medicine and neuroscience company, and undoubtedly we are confident that this tool will be essential in this era of precision medicine and drive novel treatments for disorders such as depression, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, and multiple other diseases of the human brain. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Again, it's been a pleasure to participate in this UTEST Investor Day, and I very much look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.